For the past 2 years, I've been working on my museum management game, inspired by games I grew up with such as Rollercoaster Tycoon, Theme Hospital and The Sims. The aim of this project is to bring the fun of management games together with the charm of museums. The core gameplay is about building and managing your very own museums, sharing and showing them off to your friends. There will also be a campaign for you to play through where you have to help other museums achieve their goals. The campaign museums will range from small specialised places to colossal cultural powerhouses, with each success earning you more items to add to your own museum. Other ideas for the game include arranging museum tours, improving building accessibility, an auction house for buying new items, and defending against criminal heists. There is so much potential, but unfortunately the more of these ideas that I take on, the more unmanageable the scope of the game becomes, and the more unlikely it is that I'll be able to deliver it. I've already spent 2 years working on this, and still some features are really far away, so how much longer will it take? Honestly, I don't know when the game will be finished. There's a lot to do and I don't have a huge amount of time to work on it. However, I've updated the roadmap to show where the game is at, show where the game is going, and provide transparency around my goals for the game. The roadmap for the game is split into 3 major sections. The first section is the builder demo, which is essentially the prototype for the game. The second section is the gameplay slice, which is where the core of the game will be developed, with gameplay experiments thrown in along the way. The third and final section is the Steam release, which is where the bulk of the content will be made and polished. Each section is split into stages, which contain a series of objectives that I want to achieve. I plan to release a demo for as many of the stages as I can, so I can gather feedback and shape the future of the game. This could mean significant changes to the roadmap, especially for further away stages. However, let's not get bogged down by that right now, and focus on the current version of the roadmap. Section 1 is split into 4 stages. The first stage was the initial building demo. This included getting an idea for the look of the game, developing the building grid to get an idea of the feel of the game, and releasing the first demo. That demo has been out for just over a year now, and everything I've been working on since has been fueled by the feedback from the demo. The second stage is the current stage. This is the game engine rewrite. The initial building demo was great to get an idea for how the game would feel, but it was thrown together quickly during the 100 Days of Game Dev Challenge. The code was not at all extensible, and could not serve as a base for the game. Therefore, I spent quite a lot of time rewriting it. The grid is completely new. It has no known rendering bugs, and supports rotation of both items and the world, which means I need to create rotated versions of all the art. I've also introduced a completely new input system that supports events instead of raw input. There's still a little bit more to do on that, but the aim is to recreate the original building demo with the new tech, and then move on to the next stage. The next stage is called the feedback update. The original building demo received a lot of feedback which I want to implement. This includes simple things from allowing the window to resize and giving the player better camera controls, to much larger features such as improving the building tools, an undo feature and a save load system. The fourth and final stage I have planned for section 1 is the shareability update. I want the game to reach as many people as possible. This means I'll be investigating the possibility of Mac builds and improving the installation process, but also I'll be looking at adding new features to encourage players to try out the game. The main feature that I want to add is a screenshot and share button. This will let you show off your museums to your friends. I'm also looking to add features to make the game look and feel nicer. I'm thinking of building previews, building animations, world interactability, as well as a UI overhaul. The hope is that all of these changes will move the building demo into a really great place from both a player's perspective and my own developer's perspective. Moving on to section 2, the gameplay slice. This is currently split into 3 stages, with a 4th open for future ideas. The first stage is to focus on the AI for the museum guests. Guests need to walk around museums, look at exhibits and interact with them. This will bring the museums you build to life, adding a whole layer of depth to the game. It's a bit of a daunting task as I've never done anything like this before, however I've got a plan. The guests will be controlled by state machines and they'll navigate the world with the A-star algorithm. This should get them walking around like I want, however I suspect it won't be so performant, especially with hundreds of NPCs, so I'm preparing to do some performance testing around this. The second stage is for introducing gameplay objectives. These will be the short and medium term goals for the player to work towards. This stage will include a lot of experimentation because the player will interact with this a lot, so it needs to be fun. Everything I mentioned at the start of the video, including museum tours, building accessibility, an auction house and museum heists, are just some of the ideas that I'm interested in exploring. If you have any other ideas for this stage, let me know in the comments below, as I'd love to see what you want in the game. The third and final planned stage is for game feel. By this point the game should be forming, and I want to make sure the game feels right. Is the game going to be worth releasing? Will players enjoy it? I've identified a few things that I want to check at this point. First, the name of the game and the Steam page. These are a major tool for attracting new players, so they need to be right. Next, the art style. I like the current art style, but I think it may be limiting, so I want to try out some different resolutions to see if it can be better. Finally, the soundscape. What will the game sound like? How can I avoid turning it into audio soup like my last big game, Project Tarum? At this point, the game should look and feel great, a true vertical slice. Moving on to the Steam release section, this has two major stages with a third open for future ideas. The first stage is for additional gameplay ideas. This is the stuff that's not key to making the game, however could be a major selling point to the player. The two ideas I currently have for that are character customization, so there's plenty of variety in the NPCs that visit your museums, and online play, that allows you to visit other players' museums and have other players visit yours. The second stage will be for the new museums of the campaign. This will be a major project developing different types of museums, both from an artistic and gameplay perspective. I hope that this will be the last part of development before full release. I'm sure I'm missing something, but if I can get through this roadmap, then the game will be completed. I'm very excited about this, even though I suspect it will take quite some time, perhaps another 2 years. If you want to keep up to date with the development of the game, I'll put a link to the Trello version of the roadmap in the video description, and you should subscribe to get notified when I release new devlogs for the game, like this one explaining player input. I hope you've enjoyed watching this roadmap video. Leave a like to let me know you did. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.